Hello and welcome to Rover Luxury Cars. I'm Harry and on this edition of the Friday Drive, I view this, our 2019 Range Rover Velar D300S. Now you're probably a little bit like me and find the whole Range Rover engine, trim, spec, model-y, all sorts of things to be very, very confusing. So let me try and unpack what D300S means. Now, under the bonnet is a 220 kilowatt 3-litre twin turbo V6 diesel. Now that is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, which is then connected to four 21-inch semi-gloss alloy wheels. And once you find the hidden door handles and you step into this interior, you realise it's not very Land Rover-ish. I mean, the first thing you notice is that the windows don't come down to your waist like in Land Rovers of old. It's almost like a sports car in a sort of strange way. It's not a terrible thing, I guess. And moving to the dash, it's just an onslaught of screens and things which do just about everything you could possibly think of, from adjusting the height of the suspension, the air suspension, to what sort of terrain I want, to the climate control, to nav, Bluetooth, all those bits and pieces. It's really just the central command system and controls everything that this car has to offer. It's pretty cool. But if I'm going to cut to the chase, this really isn't a Land Rover in the most traditional sense. But is it a good car? Well, there's only one way to find out. When you first look at this car, well, certainly when I first looked at it and approached it, I thought, God, the visibility is going to be absolutely shocking out of that thing. The windows look like they're the slots to a mailbox. But truth be known, once I'm in here, God, look at these cyclists. I know, just out of, oh my God. Anyway, before we keep going on about how terrible these cyclists are, the visibility is actually surprisingly good once you're in it. Certainly better than a Macan and a GLC, which is surprising. Even out of the back window, it's still pretty good. And you'd have to say that in terms of just basic kit level, this thing is far superior to both those options as well. On top of the air suspension and touch screens, it has an enormous panoramic roof, reclining rear seats, which is particularly nice, a banging Meridian sound system, double stitch leather, blind spot monitoring with lane departure warning, a wearable activity key, plus so much more. It's funny, the Velar's never really been a car that I've paid much attention to, I have to be perfectly honest. And as we were driving along, the person who's sitting on the other side of that camera there, Tristan, made a very good observation that as we were going around the corners getting off at Power Street, for anyone who knows Melbourne, the car remained incredibly flat, which is surprising for a car of this size and weight, and particularly with air suspension. Typically you'd expect it to be sort of floaty and wobbly, like four-wheel drives and all of that of old. But it isn't. Is it my cup of tea? Not really, but I can perfectly understand why anyone would want to buy this car. It drives so nicely, it's got all the kit you want, the visibility is excellent, the brakes are good, the steering's good, it's quiet, it's refined, it's comfortable, it's got plenty of room in the back, it's got a big boot for all the usual crap that people seem to carry around. It really is a very, very nice car, and I can completely sympathise with anyone who would want to buy one of these cars. Truth be told, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between this car and a sedan unless you drive it like a complete maniac. Sounds ridiculous, I know, but it's actually the truth. And in a world of gutless 4-cylinder Euro diesels, it is a very welcome change to have a car which has got a proper twin-turbo V6 at 220 kilowatt one, as we mentioned before. It really does make a huge difference having that little bit of extra grunt, particularly when you go off with the lights. Not that we're really exercising its full potential driving around the streets of East Melbourne, but you get my point, I guess. It's nicer to drive and goes better than just about anything else in its class. It has all the kit you'll ever need, plus so much more, and is definitely the it car in this segment. So if you're wanting the best value, best condition twin turbo V6 Velar in Australia with a fully authorised Land Rover service history from you and up to date with current scheduled service just completed, then come down to Rover Luxury Cars and buy today. We'll see you next week.